Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today is Monday. It is 9th of June. It is Jyeshta Masa, Trivikrama Masa, Shukla Paksham, and Trayodasi Tithi. So Trayodasi Tithi falling in 2 days, yesterday and today. But there are no external events in the calendar. So we shall quickly move into our daily Srimad Bhagavatam. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, so Uddhava speaking to Vidura, speaking on Krishna's pastimes and all the Dwarka pastimes. So Krishna, along with Balaram and all of his devotees like Arjuna and Bhima, so he has killed many demonic people. And also Shambharam Vividam Banam Muram Balvalam Evacha Anyam Cha Dantavakradi Avadit Kamsha Ghatayet Atate Bhratruputranam Pakshiyoho Paritan Drupan Chachala Kurukshetram Yesham Apapatam Bhalaihi. Oh, Vidura. So not only many of these demons were killed, and also the Pandavas and Kauravas, Bhratruputranam, and your brothers Pandu and Dhritarashtra, so their children, Bhratruputranam, Pakshayoho Paritandupan, they were also killed in the battle. Chachala Bhuhu Kurukshetram. And when they were moving on the wandering on the earth, and earth used to shake. Chachala Bhuhu Kurukshetram. Yesham Apapatam Balaihi, and they were also killed. Apapatam Balaihi. So when they were moving, so they were all shaking the earth. So it was like that. And then later on, Vidura also mentioned about the Duryodhana, and because of his bad association of Karna, Dushasana, and Sekuni, and he lost all his opulences and also his lifespan as well. And at the end, so his thigh was broken by Bhima, and then he fell on the ground. And by looking at the condition of Duryodhana, Sri Krishna was not pleased. So even though he was a relative, but Krishna was not pleased, even though Duryodhana was a bad person. So, but it is required to punish the bad entities. Sakarna Dushasana Saubhalanam Kumantrapaken Hatashriayusham Suyodanam Sanucharam Sayanam Bhagna Gurumurvyam Na Nananda Pasyan Na Nananda Pasyan. The Lord was not pleased by looking at that scene. Pasyan, by looking at that. Na Nananda. So likewise, Uddhava has mentioned about Duryodhana and many demonic people, Pandavas and Kauravas, Kurukshetra battles. Likewise, here, whenever Uddhava is saying, everything is how Krishna was doing the different pastimes. And after that, so now Uddhava is mentioning in the Kurukshetra battle, so there are many people, many soldiers from the Pandava side and Kaurava side, they were too much burden. They were all killed by Drona, Bhishma, Arjuna, Bhima. These are the four personalities. They have reduced much of the burden. This is 18 Akshavini's soldiers. So after thinking that, what is this? So even though so many soldiers are killed, still my family members, they're all unbearable to the Mother Earth. So this is a burden as well. So what is this? Likewise, Krishna was thinking in such a way. Buddha is mentioning. So likewise, we are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter 3 and verse number 14. कियान् भोऽयं क्षिपितोरुभारो यद्ध्रो न भीष्मार्जुन भीममूलैः अष्टादशाक्षौहिनुको मदंशैः आस्ते फलं दुर्विषहं यदूनाम् कियान् भोऽयं क्षिपितोरुभारो कियान् भो. What is this of the earth? Bhuvaha. Kiyan bhuvaha. Ayam kshepitorubharo. Ayam this kshepita. It is abated. Urubhara. A very great burden. Kshepita urubhara. So even though much of the burden was reduced. So this one kiyan, it is going to be, what is this? It will be applying that madam shaihi aste bhalam. So but in the middle there is another statement is coming. Bho, I am Chipita Urubharo, and even though much of the burden was abated by Yad Drona Bhishma Arjuna Bhima Mulaihi. So by the which Drona Bhishma Arjuna and Bhima Mulaihi, with the help of these four personalities. Of course, there are many other personalities are also there, but here Uddhava is mentioning about the Krishna's mood. Kiyam bho ayam Chipitoro yad drona bhishma arjuna bhima mulaihi. And how much of strength was reduced? Aksho Ashtadasha Akshauniko. So this is Ashtadasha, 18 Akshaunikaha, phalanxes of military strength. So it is described later in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the first canto, 16 chapter, 34 verse. Vividly described about that. What is the one Akshoni means? So Ashtadasha Akshauniko Madam. So until this point, this much of soldiers were reduced. Now, Madam Shaihi Aste Bhalam Durvishaham Yadunam Madam Shaihi. But still, with my descendants, Aste are still there. Balam, great strength. That is very great strength. So many people. Even Krishna families, he begot 10 children in each and every wife. And then their children as well, grandsons. All are, it is exceeding 1 million. So likewise, it is described. Aste balam durvishham yadunam. It is unbearable. The great strength of Yadus, it is unbearable. Yadunam of the Yadu dynasty. So likewise, Kiyan, what is this? Likewise, Krishna was thinking. Kiyan bhoyam chipitoru yadrona bhishmarjuna bhima mulaihi ashtadasakshauhi nipo madam shaihi aste bhalam durvishham yadunam. So translation for this shloka. After the end of the battle of Kurukshetra, the Lord said, the abatement of the earth's great burden, eaten in Akshaunis, has now been effected with the help of Drona, Bhishma, Arjuna, and Bhima. But what is this? There is still the great strength of the Yadu dynasty, born of myself, which may be a more unbearable burden. Okay, purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Can I request Gaurangi Mataji to read first paragraph and two other volunteer devotees for the next two paragraphs. Gaurangi Mataji, when you're up.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It is a wrong theory that due to an increase in population, the world becomes overburdened, and therefore there are wars and other annihilating processes. The earth is never overburdened. The heaviest mountain and oceans on the face of the earth hold more living entities than there are human beings, and they are not overburdened. If census were taken of all the living beings on the surface of the earth, certainly it would be found that the number of humans in not even 5% of the total number of living beings. If the birth rate of a human being is uh, increasing, then the birth rate of other living being in increasing proportionally. The mm, birth rate of lower animals, beasts, equities, birds, etc., is far greater than that of human being. There is a executed arrangement for food for all the living beings all over the earth by the order of the Supreme Lord, and He can arrange more and more if there is actually a disproportionate increase of living beings. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Request other two devotees to read the next two characters. One devotee, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Therefore, there is no question of an increase in population causing a burden. The earth became overburdened due to dharma, glani, or irregular discharge of the Lord's desire. The Lord appears on the earth to curb the increase in miscreants and not the increase in population, as it's wrongly put forward by the mundane economist. When Lord Krishna appeared, there had been a sufficient increase in miscreants who had violated the desire of the Lord. The material creation is meant for fulfilling the desire of the Lord, and his desire is that the conditioned souls who are unfit to enter into the kingdom of God have a chance to improve their condition for entering. The entire process of cosmic arrangement is intended just to give a chance to the conditioned soul to enter the kingdom of God, and there is an adequate arrangement for their maintenance by the nature of the Lord.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare Krishna.
Mataji. Okay, can I request other devotee to read the next paragraph? Yes, Mataji.
Therefore, although there are many, may be great increasing of population on the surface of the earth, if the people are exactly in line with God consciousness and are not miscreate, create such a burden on the earth is a source of pleasure for her. There are two kinds of burden. There is the burden of the beast and the burden of love. The burden of the beast is unbearable, but the burden of love is the source of pleasure. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti described the burden of love very particularly. He says that the burden of the husband on the young wife, the burden of the child on the lap of the mother, and the burden of wealth on the businessman. Although actually burden from the viewpoint of heaviness heaviness are source of pleasure, and in the absence of such burden, some object one may feel the burden of separation, which is heavier heavier to bear than the actual burden of love. When Lord Krishna referred to the burden of the Yadu dynasty on the earth, he refers to something different than the burden of the beast. The large number of family members born of Lord Krishna counted to some millions and were certainly a great increase in the population of the earth. But because of all of them were expansions of the Lord Himself by His transcendental plenary expansions, they were a source of great pleasure for the earth, where the Lord referred to them to connected connection with the burden on the earth. He had in mind their in, imminent disappearance from the earth. All the members of the family of Lord Krishna were incarnations of different demigods, and they were to disappear from the surface of the earth along with the Lord. When he referred to the unbearable heaviness on the earth in connection with the Yadu dynasty, he was referring to the burden of their separation. Srila Jiva Goswami confirms this in inference. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. So here in this purport, Srila Prabhupada is describing many people think that we need to reduce the earth, we need to, every person, every couple should have only one child. Previously, they have put government rules, and now two children, and don't beget three children. This is a nonsensical theory. It's a wrong theory that due to an increase in population, the world becomes overburdened, and therefore there are wars and other anti. This is a wrong theory. So theory. So earth is never overburdened, because if we look at this technically, the material ingredients are coming from the earth itself, and they will be measured in the earth itself. It is a transformation of the material ingredients, if we technically see it. And it is just it is the elements come together and form the body, and again that same elements will merge back into the same thing. So earth does not feel any burden there. Technically, there is no burden at all. It is the existing elements itself. And what is the earth is feeling is burden. The earth is never overburdened with and the heaviest mountains, oceans on the face of the earth hold more living entities than there are human beings. So this is many living entities, and Prabhupada is describing humans are just only a 5% of the total living beings. Just only 5%. But everything else is all other living entities. If the birth rate of human beings is increasing, then the birth rate of other living beings is increasing proportionately. And birth rate of lower animals, bees, is greater than that of the human beings. There is an adequate arrangement for food for all living beings all over the earth by the order of the Supreme Personality of God. He can arrange more and more if there is actually a disproportionate increase of living beings. So, in summary, this statement, this entire paragraph, Prabhupada described very nicely. There is a food. Food comes from where? The earth itself, earth ingredients, earth, water, fire, and all these things. And the living entities also comes from their bodies. They're also coming from the earth itself. The proportionate will also be arranged by the Lord. Nature arranges according to his children. He provides and he supplies the food as well. So at any point of time, there is no lack of food. There is no um, chance for lack of food, and it is no chance for burden of the earth. So it is all by the Lord's arrangement. So it is Mother Nature is providing like that. Maya Jakshara Prakriti Suyite Sacharacharam Hetuna Nena Kaunteya Jagad Viparivartate. So under the direction of the Lord, so Mother Nature is working. So on that perspective, there is no burden to the earth. There is no worry about the food for all the living entities. Then what is the burden then? So the earth became overburdened due to dharmaglani. Due to dharmaglani, when the people are miscreants, not following the rules and regulations. Dharma is the means the duty of a constitutional position of a living entity. So that is dharma. And when the living entity is not following according to its rules and principles prescribed for that living entity, then it is dharma glani. So what is dharma means? It is described ye animitta nimittena dharmen aradhayan harim. Always, dharma is always worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the basis for the Varnashrama Dharma and every, not only in this material world, even in the spiritual world. In the Vaikuntha Vasantyatra Purushaha Sarve Vaikuntha Muttayaha Ye Animitta Nimittena Dharmena Aradhayan Harim. Worshipping of the Lord. When that is not happening, that is Dharma Glani. That is the falling from the natural constitutional position of a living entity. Then it is being separating from Krishna. It appears that, but it is not separated. But when the forgetfulness of the living entity comes into that state, that is Dharma Glani. Then irregular discharge of Lord's desire. Because they do not understand Lord's desire, then immediately Dharma Glani. यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत abhyudhanam tadatmanam sujamyaham. So during that dharma glani time, the Lord comes, sujamyaham. Okay, so the Lord appears on the earth to curb the increase in the miscreants and not the increase in population as is wrongly put forward by the mundane economist. So this is economist means this is sense gratificatory things. He wanted to hold everything, all the money and the wealth, and he does not want to share. And then in such a way he would put his plans. It is all wrong conceptions. When the Lord Krishna appeared, there had been a sufficient increase in miscreants who had violated the desire of the Lord. There at that time there are many of the miscreant peoples like Kamsa and many of Jarasandas and Chispala and Duryodhana and company. So many of them. So because of Duryodhana in another way, he was helping the Lord's, like Jarasandha was helping the Lord's mission. So Lord used to kill all the soldiers. Jarasandha used to go and accumulate all the soldiers, and then Krishna and Balaram kills only the soldiers. Jarasandha go again and then bring more soldiers to the battle. So Krishna's work was easy, and also Duryodhana also helping. All these miscreants were all assembled in the Kurukshetra battle. So likewise, they were helping. So task would be very easy. But all these people were not following the, not many. It is mentioned. Um, so all bad elements go to the bad side, good elements go to the good side. So Kurukshetra battle means battle happens, but only good people go to the good destinations after they're leaving their bodies, and bad people go to their defined destinations according to their karma, who is not following the dharma. Okay, so when Krishna appeared, there are so many miscreants. So, and Lord has to reduce the burden. The material creation is meant for fulfilling the desire of the Lord. Samsiddhir haritoshanam. And his desire is that conditioned souls who are unfit to enter into the kingdom of God have a chance to improve their conditions for entering. This is very, very important point. This material world is created only given a chance for the living entities to purify themselves from the material conceptions of life, and then with a pure consciousness that I am not part of this material world, I am part of the Lord's Vaikuntha planet. In such a way, when they are purified, they will be eligible to enter into the Vaikuntha Loka. So, like, yes, in order to enter into this country, there are so many rules and regulations. Even though here, Prabhupada mentions it is always hellish, always cold and dark like that. Prabhupada mentioning during the winter season, always wet and raining. So hell is here, likewise. But here, to come to this particular country itself, there are so many rules and regulations. But if you wanted to go to the Vaikuntha, there should be many rules to be followed. What are those rules? One should be jnana and vairagya. One should have a knowledge about himself and the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his entourage and his paraphernalia, his abode, knowledge, and then Vairagyam towards the material world. Then he will be eligible. So that is his desire is that conditioned souls who are unfit to enter into the kingdom of God have a chance to improve their conditions for entering. The entire process of cosmic arrangement is intended just to give a chance. So this is the arrangement, chance to the conditioned souls to enter the kingdom of God, and there is an adequate arrangement for their maintenance by the nature of the Lord. So in order to, for this purpose, nature arranges everything. Nature arranges everything. We do not have to worry about those things, but only we need to try to uh, fulfill the desire of the Lord. This is desire of the Lord, Lord's desire. Yes, and then further Prabhupada is describing in third paragraph about the what it is called here. Uddhava is mentioning Aste bhalam durvishaham yedonam. Yedu family also become burden, and here this burden is described in a good way, in a very nice way. So Vishwanath Chakravarti's example, it is described uh, very nicely. So there may be a great increase in population on the surface of that. If the people are exactly in the line with God consciousness and are not miscreants, such a burden on the earth is a source of pleasure. This is a source of pleasure. When all the devotees are there, there are no fightings, no quarrels, all are aligning to the same kind of principles, and so much of happy, then Mother Earth will be so much of happy. So this is two kinds of burdens. It's a burden of the beast and a burden of love. Beast is one who is not following the dharma. He is always making some burden to the parents, like the Mother Earth, Mother Nature, always trying to pollute the nature with plastic, that, and so many of those things. There are innumerable ways of making the earth spoil. So that is the burden of the beast and the burden of love. One who is living according to the nature in a eco-friendly, not polluting the earth, and simple life, and live with the nature, and then worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a Father, Supreme Father, and render service to Him. So this is the burden of love. So um, the burden of the beast is unbearable, and burden of love is a source of pleasure. Too much of love is at one side, too much of burden on another side. So this Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes the burden of the husband on the young wife, and the burden of the child on the lap of the mother, and the burden of the wealth on the businessman. Although actually burdens from the viewpoint of heaviness are sources of pleasure. These are the sources of pleasure. And in the absence of such burdensome objects, one may feel the burden of the separation. See, this is when the mother does not have children nearer to her, even though she is happy when she is serving her children and providing food, cooking food, and looking, adoring them, making them bath, and then putting nice clothes on them, decorating them with nice ornaments. Then mother feels so much of happy. Though it is a burden to her, she feels so much of happy. But if children are going far away for a tour or someone's family's homes for a month or so, mother feels so much of separation from the children. In the absence of such a burden object, one may feel the burden of separation. That is, burden of separation, which is heavier to bear than the actual burden of love. She will feel, though, so much of work at home to the mother, that is the happiness to the mother, than the separation. And when the Lord Krishna referred to the burden of the Yadu dynasty on the earth, he referred to something different than the burden of the beast. Aste balam durvishaham yadunam. And the large numbers of family members born of Lord Krishna counted to some millions and were certainly a great increase in the population of that. But because of all of them were expansions of the Lord Himself. This is previously mentioned that Atmatulyani Sarvataha. They're all just like a Atmatulyani, just like a Krishna, expansions of Krishna. So by his transcendental plenary expansions, they were a source of great pleasure for the earth. So Mother Earth would be very happy with them. But when Lord referred to them in connection with the burden on the earth, he had in mind their imminent disappearance from the earth. Imminent disappearance from the earth. Once all of Krishna's family disappears, then Mother Earth feels so much of burden of separation. So all members of the family of Lord Krishna were incarnations of different demigods, and they were to disappear from the surface of the earth along with the Lord. When he referred to unbearable heaviness on the earth in the connection with the Edo dynasty, he was referring to the burden of their separation. Burden of their separation. Srila Jiva Goswami confirms this inference. Okay, see, it is a very beautiful angle to see what the burden is here from the devotee's angle. Okay, likewise, Uddhava is speaking to Vidura here. कियन् भोऽयं क्षिपितोरुभारो यद्रोण भीष्मार्जुन भीममूलैः अष्टादश अक्षौनीको मदंशैः आस्ते बलं दुर्विषहं यदूनाम्. Likewise, Krishna was thinking, so still, Yadu family burden is remained on the earth. Even the 18 Akshaunis are killed. Okay, so that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. We shall move to Srila Prabhupada's daily letter. Today, letter to N.C. Chatterjee, August 21st, 1970, Tokyo. It's a small letter only. Can I request any devotee to read it? Okay, I shall read this letter then. Okay, dear Shri Nirmal Babu, please accept my greetings. I reply to your letter dated July 2nd from Calcutta. I had to send a reply to you dated July 9th, 1970, and the copy of the letter is again enclosed herewith. I hope in the meantime you had some meeting with the Prime Minister of India, and I am very anxiously awaiting your reply to this. I know you are very busy in your professional work, but I still am giving you trouble because I know you love this cause. I am confident of this great Krishna consciousness movement for worldwide peace and prosperity. I am therefore coming to India as of the 29th August 1970 to meet all respectable Indians to help me in this great movement. The motives which are donated for being established in my different centers are still held up under different pleas. So to undo this deadlock, we have to take some immediate measure. I was very much encouraged when you promised to see the Prime Minister of India and other ministers in this connection. Kindly therefore get this matter sanctioned without delay. I shall be staying in Calcutta at the following address, 37/1 Hindustan Road, Baliganj, Baliganj, Calcutta 29, and will expect your reply early as possible. Hope you are well. Yours sincerely, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so in this letter, Prabhupada is very anxious about the Nirmal Babu's meeting with the Prime Minister of India and other ministers as well. So about this Krishna consciousness movement. So Prabhupada is mentioning this. His mission is Krishna consciousness for worldwide peace and prosperity. There is again a new book was published by Bhaktivikas Swami, The Mood and Mission of Srila Prabhupada. One book has come, so that it describes more and more. Of course, it is to spread Krishna consciousness movement for worldwide peace and prosperity in a different angles. Prabhupada, how he has acted and what he has given instructions to everyone. Everything is there embedded in that book. Okay, so and then that is one statement, and also Prabhupada, even though it is Nirmal Babu is busy, again still Prabhupada is giving that instruction that he loves to spread Krishna consciousness. He loves that Krishna consciousness movement. Okay, so everyone loves this one, but only that is accommodating that time. That is where they really show uh, whether they're really loving or not. That is the main thing. Otherwise, telling just for the sake of I know I love this one, I do worship at home just for a few seconds, keeping folded hands like that. But after that, I don't act on it. I just do my business all the time. So, but here, it means one has to give their time to the Krishna consciousness. Okay, so later on, Prabhupada is mentioning another that is about the Murti's deadlock that needs to be resolved. Um, okay, so likewise, Prabhupada is very much encouraged when Nirmal Babu wanted to see Prime Minister of India. Okay, so that is about the summary of this letter. And also he wanted to meet Nirmal Babu about what has happened and like that. Okay, that is from Srila Prabhupada's letter and from the announcements point of view. So today evening we have got teachings of Lord Chaitanya at 8 p.m. Okay, so that is about our upcoming event. Tomorrow is our preaching practice session with Gayatri Mataji. Yeah, and our regular events starts again from today. Okay, that is updates from me. And the devotees, if you have got any updates or you wanted to share anything on Krishna consciousness or any festivals that you have participated in the temples and you have met devotees like that, kindly share. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Um, uh, Today is a little bit busy. We can share on Saturday or some other day, Prabhu. Oh, yeah. But yesterday was nice, Prabhu. We went Meena Mataji, Jagrati Mataji, Sanchita Mataji. We met. So yes, Prabhu, it was really nice the festival and
In the
then the
Soho
evening.
temple, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, in Soho Temple. So yeah, there was a nice auction going on with the yes fort, and then yeah, it was really nice, Prabhu. So Sansita Mataji and family they got one post. Jagrati Mataji got one post, and then I just yes, I feel like Krishna's message, so I got into one. So yeah, it was really nice, Prabhu. And then so much prasadam, and then everybody was sharing the pot prasadam, but I couldn't. Yeah, the appetite is not so big, so I had only a little bit, and then I had to share the prasadam also. So too much uh, prasad. So it was really nice. Yeah,
Very beautiful.
thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji, for sharing that beautiful pastimes. Okay, so that is from announcements point of view. Any other comments or updates? Okay, if there are no further updates, then we shall conclude and continue with further japa. पञ्चकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंतकोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय हरे कृष्ण कॉन्शियस डे एवरीवन